It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Tuesday, the 20th of May. I'm Michael Groff. Temperatures continuing to heat up for the rest of the week. We'll see some minor fluctuations in daytime highs as we head into the Memorial Day holiday weekend, but overall, above average temperatures are favored through the forecast period. Some forecast uncertainty starts to come into the mix later on, and it gets downright interesting by the time we get out there toward Fantasyland territory, 8 to 10 days out. We'll talk about that and so much more as we dive on in and discuss. But before we go any further, I gave you a trivia question the last couple of days about Memorial Day climatology. The first one that we asked you was about the total number of days out of 129 Memorial Days on record in Phoenix. How many of them had a high temperature at or above 100 degrees? We gave you the answer to that yesterday. That was 40. Then yesterday I asked you, how many times of those 129 days have we had a trace or more of rain in Phoenix? So a trace or more of rain on Memorial Day. And someone named Nafni Art, Nafni Art, on our comments section got it exactly right. The correct answer, 6 days on record in Phoenix have had rain on Memorial Day. Well, a trace of rain or more. 3 of those are actually measurable rain. 1992, 1990, 1972, 1924, 1914, and 1901. Of course, I was actually here for 2 of those days. So 1990 and 1992. And so it's kind of a notable thing when it actually rains on Memorial Day. Of course, we're in the heart of the dry season. So only 3 times have had measurable rain, 6 times a trace or more. So there you go. Lots of good guesses out there. And some of you said, we're very close. I saw, I think, an 8, a 9. Somebody said 20. I wish we had 20 days of rain on Memorial Day. That would be fantastic. And this year sure doesn't look like we're going to see any rain on Memorial Day. Of course, we'll get into that in just a moment. But first, let's check out that almanac from yesterday. 94 degrees was the afternoon high. 70 was the morning low. 96 and 70 are the averages for this time of year. 110 degrees, the record high from 2008. Interesting about that 2008 occurrence of 110 degrees. Just a couple days later, the low temperature was 51 degrees and there was rain. And that was a very, very odd end of the month in 2008. That was very strange weather. 2008 had lots of unusual weather that occurred, as we have sometimes pointed out going through the almanacs over the years. All right, taking a look outside right now, just after 10 a.m., we've got mostly sunny sky out there. We're sitting at 86 degrees at Sky Harbor, but it is bone dry. Look at that. Dew points at 22, humidity 9%, wind from the east at 7 miles per hour, and the barometer is steady. Satellite picture out here across the west. We put that in motion for you. That big area of low pressure, that trough going negative tilt out across the plain states, brought showers and thunderstorms to Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri. We saw some tornadoes. We saw some large hail and gusty winds yesterday afternoon. But on the backside of that, that's where we are, a dry northwesterly flow. We saw some breezy conditions yesterday, and Clayton was asking about when those winds are going to die down. We might see some afternoon breezes today, but nothing like we saw yesterday. And the winds for the rest of the week should stay relatively quiet, relatively light. Now, understand this is still the month of May. April and May are the windiest months of the year in Phoenix, traditionally. And so we will still see some afternoon breezes at times. But I think overall, the winds will be a lot quieter, at least until we get toward the weekend. Might see some breezes picking up at times. All right, the watch warning map. We've got some red flag warnings over the Arrowhead of Minnesota, some flood watches over parts of Kentucky and the adjacent states. But things are quiet right now. Later today, though, and tonight, got that enhanced risk of severe storms with that trough out across the plain states. That'll affect the Mid-South, the Deep South, all the way up to the Ohio Valley. The enhanced risk of severe storms, level 3 out of 5 for places like Memphis, Tupelo, Columbus, Mississippi, Birmingham, Huntsville, Nashville. So again, if you're in that enhanced risk, there's the threat of all modes of severe weather are possible, including a few strong tornadoes. The most likely outcome, because this will be a fairly linear type event, will be strong, damaging straight-line winds. That's a pretty high probability, especially in that enhanced risk, and some large hail as well. Now, for us, things, of course, are quiet. Precipitation outlook, this is valid through Tuesday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix, nothing. Statewide, nothing. Region-wide, not much to be had because, again, the main storm track stays to the north with a bit of a caveat. We're going to talk about that right now as we get to the models. See what the future may hold. Here we go. This is the GFS. It's the 12Z run. This is valid at 5 o'clock this afternoon. There's that trough going negative tilt out across the plain states, and to the south and east of that in the warm sector, that's where you'll have those showers, thunderstorms, and some strong storms. For us, of course, high pressure is building in on the other side of that. A northwesterly flow aloft is with us, so what it means down at the surface for the rest of the day today, pretty typical stuff for late May. Sunny, highs mid to upper 90s. Average high for today in Phoenix is 96 degrees. We'll be probably at or maybe just a few degrees above that. So nothing crazy. And of course, humidity will be very low. So very quiet conditions are expected here. For tonight, clear sky, lows mid 60s in the cool spots, low to mid 70s in the urban core. And then for tomorrow, sunny, warmer, highs upper 90s to about 103 degrees. Let's keep it going. This is Thursday, and this is likely to be the hottest day of the forecast period. We should be mostly sunny. There might be a few high clouds. High temperatures will top out around 102 to 106. Here comes Friday, and highs still around 100 to 104 degrees. Now, as we head into the upcoming holiday weekend, this is where the forecast uncertainty begins to come in. And while there is model spread here, the ultimate outcome of whatever solution takes place is not going to amount to a whole lot of difference in the overall weather here. But I thought I'd point it out to you. This is Saturday. We see some evidence of a weak upper low or an open wave here over the southwest, and so we should see at least some increase in high clouds. So we'll call it partly sunny late Friday into Saturday, and temperatures might fall off a few degrees, highs mid and upper 90s on Saturday. That's what we're going with right now. You know, if these somewhat stronger ensemble members play out, temperatures might be a little bit lower than that, but I don't think there's a scenario in which daytime highs would wind up being below average here by any meaningful amount. So, yeah, slightly cooler Saturday, some clouds around, some breezes too, and that's about it. Sunday, again, maybe a few breezes around, a few clouds, high temperatures right around 100, a couple of degrees either side of 100. And let's keep going. This is Memorial Day, and this low probably shears out, moves out. I don't think it's going to stick around, but there might be another weak upper low or trough that eventually kind of swings in here toward the middle part of next week. But for now, Memorial Day looks quiet. No matter what plays out, the weather will be quiet here relatively. No chance of precipitation, no real sensible weather other than some high clouds and some breezes. High temperatures on Memorial Day, again, top out right around 100 to 104 degrees. And again, give or take, you know, we're kind of seeing some ping-ponging on the models, but within a couple of degrees either side. All right, keep going. A week from today, this is Tuesday the 27th, and we have another little baggy low that's sitting off to the west of us, and this is not going to have any significant impact, but again, there could be some high clouds with this, and it could serve to keep temperatures down a couple of degrees from where they otherwise would be, so daytime highs, again, right around 100. Let's keep going. This is Wednesday, the 28th. And you don't really see it on this graphic too well, but way down south of the Baja, it's kind of cut off here. There's the GFS shows a developing tropical cyclone down there. A tropical storm, a hurricane. You know, the GFS loves to do that. We all know that. It loves to paint in those rogue tropical systems as we get into the summertime here. Is that a possibility? Yeah, maybe, but it's a little early in the season. Could it happen? Yes. We're not going to concern ourselves with it, but it is something interesting that the GFS is painting in here. even if that happens, it probably doesn't have any implication on our weather, but it's just something worth watching. Otherwise, for next week, temperatures again, just slightly above seasonal averages. Highs pretty close to 100 degrees going out 10 days. This is Thursday, the 29th. And again, you can see that remnant low. It'd be weakening as it approaches the southern tip of Baja. Water temperatures are still a little cool down there, so anything that approaches southern Baja weakens pretty quickly. But that could result in some gusty winds and maybe a few showers down there. But high pressure is off to the west of us. So if that does develop, we'll take this at face value. Even if this happens, I don't think we'd see anything from that in terms of moisture coming up here, as high pressure would be building in from the west and a dry west-northwesterly flow would be taking place. So that would not have any real impact on us. But again, something to watch and it's something to talk about. And, this time of year, hey, we could always use some extra weather, some bonus tropical cyclone activity to take a look at. And again, this is the surface chart there, and you can see that that system weakening there. And plenty of moisture, though, of note across southern and southwest Mexico. And that's always encouraging. And the monsoon watchers always love to see that, all that extra moisture down there early on, in late May and early June. Does it mean that does that portend a better monsoon for us? Not necessarily, but it's always interesting to see how the pattern begins to develop. All right, let's take a look at rainfall for Phoenix. This goes out through the 3rd of June. This is off the GFS ensemble, and you got 31 members in this ensemble, and less than a third of them have any measurable rain. The ensemble mean is 0.02 of an inch. The European ensemble, 51 members, exactly 1 has any rain for us. So again, dry is the story, as it often is this time of year. Temperatures off the national blend of models, pretty consistent. Highs around or just above 100 degrees most days during this forecast period. Nothing record-breaking, nothing earth-shattering here, but that's about what you'd expect, maybe just a little bit above what you'd expect this time of year. And let's check out the CPC Outlook, Climate Prediction Center Outlook for the 8 to 14-day period. This is May 27th through the 2nd of June. First, we'll look at temperatures here. Below average temperatures are favored for a good portion of the eastern United States. But around here, near average and just to the north and west of us, above average temperatures are the more likely outcomes. So that looks good based on what model trends are showing us right now. Highs relatively close to seasonal averages for us to close out the month of May and moving into early June. Precipitation, above average precip is favored over a fair portion of the southern and eastern United States, including nosing into eastern Arizona. Now, again, average precip values are so low that even above average is not much, but again, that's kind of eyebrow raising when you see that, nosing into eastern Arizona here at the end of May and early June. So interesting, but for us, near average precipitation, which means ostensibly nothing. And that's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here tomorrow morning. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you really enjoy what we do here, then do support the channel. Click that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube, or you can make a contribution to us via PayPal. groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal. Our Venmo is linked up down there. So again, if you want to support us that way, that's fine. Or if you just enjoy watching the content and liking the video and making a comment, that's cool too. It all helps us out. All right. The executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion is my OAO, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona, talking about my Michelle. Check her out. Blogs, videos, everything Michelle related, quite possibly, and more than likely Adriana related. It's all linked up down in the description, so check that out. Also, our streaming station. It's available 24/7, 365. It's called KMGX. We play a ton of music, an absolute crap load of music, And it's the most chaotic mix of music you'll ever hear, and it's there available to you 24/7, 365. So again, check that out as well. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. All of your continued support. So greatly appreciated. Please be safe, stay cool, stay hydrated out there, and have yourselves a beautiful rest of your Tuesday.